This is Jerry Springer's childhood residence in Kew Gardens, New York. I am Thomas, and welcome to another video here on my channel. Right now, we are in the border of, we're approaching Forest Hills. Forest Hills, Queens, New York. And, as of this video, we're doing this video in May, Jerry Springer passed away a few weeks ago. Jerry Springer lifetime, living in Chicago. But before then, Jerry Springer, when he first came over to America, actually lived in Kew Gardens. And he went to, he lived here with his parents in Kew Gardens. He went to grammar school and high school here. He went to high school in Forest Hills. The name of the high school was Forest Hills High School, which is where we're traveling to first, and then we're gonna kind of backtrack our way to look at the actual apartment. So this video is a little bit of a different type of a video. I wanted you guys to get a feel of how Jerry Springer's high school, his neighborhood was back then. I mean, now it's different, as you could see. It's a lot of apartment buildings here, a lot of stores. But an area like Kew Gardens, where it's a very an area that's in desire, right? Because it's near city. It's near a lot of Manhattan, where there's a lot of jobs and a lot of opportunity, and the public transportation system here is very efficient between buses, subways, cabs. So you necessarily don't have to have a car to travel everywhere, which is good for people that are just looking, that are coming over from different countries and looking to start and make a better life for themselves and their family. So we'll be approaching Forest Hills High School here in just a minute. Now, Forest Hills High School, I guess you might say it's almost like a landmark. Very famous alumni here that went to Forest Hills High School. You had Michael Landon. You had Ernie Grunfeld, that's a basketball executive. You had the Ramones here as well. Imagine the Ramones and Jerry Springer bumping shoulders, which I think was possible because they were born around the same time. Jack Lew, George Lowe, that's a Nassau administrator. And you're looking at the main entrance right now of Forest Hills High School. It's under construction, but it's a big school. That's where Jerry Springer went to high school. And you could see, if you looked here on the corner, there's a street named the Ramones, right on the corner here, the Ramones Way. So the Ramones, like I mentioned, were good, they were Forest Hills High School graduates as well. Oh, and let's not forget, and we're going to take a look at around the school here now. Big school. Paul Simon as well went to Forest Hills High School here. So, and this neighborhood, which is Forest Hills, next neighborhood over where Jerry Springer lived. That's, if you were wondering, at Kew Gardens. It's actually like I would even say the border of Kew Gardens, Forest Hills. That is roughly about um, if we're walking here. I don't know if Jerry Springer would have walked that, but that would have been about 2.5 miles of walking for Jerry Springer. We're going to take you what might have been a path for Jerry Springer to get to his home. So we're going now from the high school to his where his apartment was in Kew Gardens. So if my story is right, just to backtrack, after Forest Hills, Jerry Springer earned a bachelor's of arts from. He went on to Tulane University, earned a bachelor's of arts. He majored in political science, and then he went on to Northwestern, 1968. So back to Kew Gardens here. Jerry, in January of 1949, when Jerry was 4 years old, his parents immigrated to the United States, and they came into Kew Gardens. Kew Gardens now, how it has, and probably I think the reason why, and this is common for, I'm sure, no matter where you live, but that area of Kew Gardens, and the neighborhood has changed a little bit, but it's still the same in the regards, pockets of it still, at least, where there was Jewish people living there, and that's only common if you're amongst your to feel. It's a special type of feeling to be amongst your people when you're essentially in a whole new world in the United States. So that's where they settled out there in Kew Gardens. So as of I think there have been demographic changes, but it's right now I would probably say it's a ethnically diverse, but there are still a lot of active synagogues in the area of Kew Gardens. And so if you look forward and fast forward to how Kew Gardens in 1965 attracted many Chinese immigrants, then you had the Iranian Revolution of 1979, where it attracted a lot of immigrants from China, Pakistan, Iran. So it's a beautiful neighborhood, which is very diverse, and it's a relatively, I guess you would say, safe neighborhood. Relatively safe, with all things considered. Jerry Springer's parents, they were, they had very good professions in their country. His mom was a bank clerk, and his father was the owner of a shoe shop. German Jewish refugees who escaped at the time what was Prussia, is now Poland. His grandparents, unfortunately, passed away at the concentration camps. Jerry and his family were one of the lucky ones that were able to escape. So Jerry Springer, as he's living here in Kew Gardens in around 1956, he says that one of his most earliest memories about current events was when he was 12 years old, and he was watching the 1956 Democratic National Convention on television, where he saw and was impressed by, at the time, Senator John F. Kennedy, which is probably why, once he went on to Forest Hills High School and graduated from Forest Hills High School, then went on to Tulane and then Northwestern, which is why he wanted to become an attorney, right there from all of those experiences. He ran for the House of Representatives, but he failed to win that race in 1970. He took 45% of the vote, Democratic vote, in which normally it was a Republican district. He was elected to Cincinnati City Council in 1971, but he resigned in 1974 after he had a little blimp there on his record when he admitted to soliciting a prostitute. He made city council, but in 1981 he stepped down from city council and he wanted to run for governor of Ohio. So he's, obviously settled in Ohio at this point, Cincinnati and Chicago, that area. And this is the home, once again, the childhood home. I believe they were on the second floor of Jerry Springer. It's where they first moved into, when they moved into Kew Gardens. Springer, he continued throughout his time there although he never became governor, he failed. He tried. He considered running for the United States Senate in 2000 and 2004 as well, but he backed down due to negative associations with the Jerry Springer Show. What is that, you ask? Oh, I will tell you. And we're going through, just driving through how modern day Kew Gardens looks like right now, very briefly. Many years now, obviously, since Jerry Springer is no longer living here. I believe Jerry Springer's sister still lives in the area. This is downtown Kew Gardens, as you would call it. Downtown Kew Gardens. So the Jerry Springer Show, probably historic, iconic, led to probably shows like Maury Povich, and they all had for example, probably Maury Povich is the one that comes to mind, where at one point the Jerry Springer talk show was very like serious matters or more buttoned up. And, Jerry Springer's show, they wanted to get the ratings, wanted to beat Oprah at the time. And they loosened up their topics to where it became very chaotic, very raunchy, very people with these weird stories and cousins sleeping with third cousins and fifth cousins and paternity tests and all of that type of talk where it was chaos and they would fight on stage and chairs would be thrown and Jerry Springer at the very end would have his final thought after all the chaos and all the drama. And the Jerry Springer show became huge after that. That's what people wanted to watch. And you might say that's what probably even led the beginning of reality television is this drama. Now, who knows if these guests were on Jerry Springer, if they were scripted or not, but that will never be known. That's just a kept secret. But I think it was pretty much known, or at least I thought that it was scripted. Anyway, I mean, this was a show, at least in New York, the Jerry Springer show, and it ran, and people loved it, and it ran, and it ran, and it ran for many years. I think the most recent. My heart.
Will you marry me?
You know I've cheated on you.
I know. That's the past.
Yeah, but...
That was 6 months ago.
That's not the only time.
Yes, and that was the Jerry Springer show. I remember it being here in New York on like at 11 o'clock, Channel 9, 11, various times of the day throughout the years, but that was a show. I hope you enjoyed this video of Jerry Springer. Could go on and on and on, but an absolute legend on the TV and off the TV. I hope all is well.